Conan of the Iron Silence, an Avalon epic. Prologue, the birth of the Barbarian. While the scholars of the West chanted in Latin and the mystics of the East sang in Sanskrit, there was a rugged, unnamed territory on the border of Boreas and the western kingdoms known as the Cimmerian Highlands. Here, the people believed that magic was a thief of the spirit. They practiced the Riddle of Steel, the belief that the only truth was the strength of one's own arm. In this frozen land, Conan was born. He was a giant of a man, with skin like weathered oak and eyes that held the blue fire of the Tau system's sun. Chapter 1, The Theft of the Voice. When Conan was a youth, a sorcerer-priest of the Dark Lands named Thulsa Doom, an agent of Dajjal, marched into his village. Doom did not use a sword, he used a cursed command. Speaking in a twisted, hypnotic dialect that combined the ancient tongues of Hades, he forced the Cimmerian warriors to drop their weapons and walk into their own fires. Conan watched his family perish, his own throat seized by the sorcerer's linguistic grip. He was sold into slavery, forced to turn the wheel of pain 4 years. While he turned the wheel, he did not pray. He did not chant. He learned the magic of silence. He realized that the more Dajjal's minions talked, the more they lied. His power grew in the quiet of his muscles. Chapter 2, The Multilingual Wanderer. Eventually breaking his chains, Conan traveled across the face of Avalon. He was a man of few words, but he learned to respect the weight of the languages he encountered. In the Zyran deserts, he worked as a thief, learning that an Arabic whisper could unlock a vault as easily as a lockpick. In the Lotus Realms, he served as a mercenary, seeing how Sanskrit mantras could summon spirits, but also how those spirits feared the cold edge of Cimmerian steel. He spoke only when necessary, his voice a low growl. He became a living anomaly, a man whom the linguistic magic of Avalon could not easily track or control. Chapter 3, The Duel of Steel and Spell. Conan's journey led him back to the serpent towers of Thulsa Doom. The sorcerer was preparing a great deception, a spell intended to drown the western kingdoms in a fog of false promises. Doom stood atop his ziggurat, his voice booming in a dark, amplified Latin that made the very stones weep. The king's knights were paralyzed, their own protective hymns being twisted back at them by Doom's sorcery. But then, Conan arrived. He did not chant a counterspell. He did not bring a priest. He climbed the tower in total silence. When he reached the summit, Thulsa Doom laughed, attempting to cast a command of submission in a tongue that usually made men kneel. Why do you not bow, barbarian? Do you not hear the voice of a god? Conan spoke his only words of the battle, his voice cutting through the magical air like a khopesh. My god is Crom. And Crom does not speak. He only watches. With a single, massive strike of his Atlantean sword, Conan severed the sorcerer's head. Without the speaker, the spell vanished instantly. The fog of lies lifted, and the magic of silence had defeated the magic of deception. Epilogue, the king by his own hand. Conan did not return to the wilderness. He marched into the throne room of the kingdom he had saved, sat upon the jeweled throne, and placed the crown upon his own brow. He became King Conan, the silent sovereign of Avalon. Under his reign, the schools of language flourished, but he made a new law: words must be backed by the heart, or they are nothing. He reminded the Tau system that while language is magic, the strength of a soul's intent, the iron silence, is the shield that protects the truth.